StraightallDay.com.
Now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you have expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unified philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is, we are on part number 4 of our, or part number, no, excuse me, not part number 4, part number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, part 3 of our ongoing 4-part series, which is Street Smarts, the what, the why, and the how. Before we get into this, I remind you all of 2 things. First of all, my text message number down below in the description. Once we start sending that message out again, you'll be getting those messages straight to your phone. All you have to do is be a member of my texting community. Numbers down below in the description. Just find it down there, text me, and once we start sending again, we'll already have your information. Secondly, workonyourgameuniversity.com. You like to have me as your direct coach. You want me to be a person who you can call on. You have scheduled time to talk to on a regular basis about what you're doing, where you're going, what you're working on. Make sure you have a clear strategy, a clear system, and are being held accountable to implement. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Let's have a conversation between you and us about where you're at, where you're going, what you feel like might be in your way. And if we can help, we'll tell you how it works. That's, again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That out the way, let's pick up where we left off, which, again, is part 3 of our ongoing series of Street Smarts, the what, the why, and the how. Let's start with point number 7, right where we left off. Number 7 is recognizing opportunity. Opportunity is everywhere around us at all times. It is only a matter of perception as to what each of us recognizes as an opportunity and what we recognize as opportunity, and if we do anything about the opportunities that we do see. So opportunity is always there. It's not that you need to go find an opportunity. You can create an opportunity. You can become an opportunity. Some of you are opportunities for other people right now, but those people just don't know that you exist, or they don't see you, or they just haven't gotten around to getting to you, and it might be your job to kind of speed up that process. But an opportunity is everywhere. All right, opportunity is not something you have to go seeking. Opportunities are always existing. It's just a matter of how you choose to look at and how you choose to frame the circumstances that are around you. All right, so it's a matter of perception. That's all opportunity is. It's a matter of perception. It's not a matter of fact. And perception is not a fact. It's a perception. It's subjective. So the way I see things and the way you see things are completely different, even if we're looking at the exact same thing. Okay, like remember that meme, like what color is this dress? And some people say it's black, some people say it's blue, and some people say it's green. It's a matter of perception. It's not an objective reality. So how many times have you been in the physical presence of another person who you later thought to yourself, damn, I should have asked that person this question. I should have said this to this person. I should have responded this way. I should have built a relationship. I should have exchanged information with this person. I should have otherwise engaged, or I should have said this, or I should have countered with this, or I forgot to say this part, and you didn't do it when you had the opportunity. Maybe you forgot and you simply it didn't come to you to say it. Maybe you were thinking about it, but you just didn't have the balls or the gall to say it. But all of us have had that experience of thinking of something later that we should have did earlier. Especially, for example, males. How many times have you seen a woman you were interested in, didn't say anything, and you just hesitated on pulling the trigger and you're like, damn, I should have said something to that girl. All right, all males have had that experience. Ladies, I don't know what the equivalent would be for you, but ladies, you can probably think of times when you saw a male and you were trying to give him the signal that he should approach, but he didn't approach for whatever reason. All right, has that happened, ladies? I'm sure it has. So opportunity is simply anything that we decide to take advantage of when we notice or create it. That's all opportunity is. Opportunity is not a thing that happens to you. Opportunity is simply, let me say it again, anything that you notice or decide to take advantage of when you notice it is a better way of saying it. So when you take advantage of something, it becomes an opportunity. When you don't take advantage of it, then it becomes a missed opportunity. Still an opportunity, you just missed it. Or when you create an opportunity, it becomes one. So when I told you a couple episodes back that I cold called a bunch of basketball agents to try to get a basketball agent to represent me, there was no opportunity presented to me before I started making the cold calls. When I started making the calls, I was creating the possibility of an opportunity. I called a bunch of agents. A bunch of them either didn't answer or didn't call me back. Those weren't the opportunities. But the one who answered, he became an opportunity. And when he liked what he heard and what he saw, it became an even bigger opportunity. I became an opportunity for him because when he got me signed and I made money, he made money. So again, opportunities can be created, folks. I manufactured that out of nothing. And many of you have times in your life when you have manufactured opportunities out of nothing. Here's the good news. You can do this all the time. It doesn't have to be few and far between. It doesn't have to be one every 10 years. You can manufacture opportunities out of nowhere anytime you feel like it. It's just a matter of, do you have the motivation, shall we say, to go look for and create opportunities? What's your reason for wanting to go do it? So it's anything you decide to take advantage of. So on the book smarts side, we get trained to wait for someone to tell us what the opportunity is. Again, this is the way school is designed, is the way that many jobs are designed. Not all jobs, but many of them, is that you sit down, wait for someone to give you the instructions, i.e. the opportunity, and then you go follow the instructions. This happens at school, this happens at work. And many of you have been trained this way for years, and it's hard to get you out of this mindset. On the other side of things, in the street smarts world, you must train yourself to identify and create your own opportunities. When you're an entrepreneur, for example, the opportunities are not handed to you. You must go and do something to get people to notice you. If you don't do anything, you won't get noticed. Even if you have a great offering, if nobody knows you have the offer, nobody can take advantage of it. So your job is to make sure people know that you exist. In the business world, we call that marketing. Point number 8, today's topic, once again, is street smarts, the what, the why, and the how. Number 8, independence is a street smart. Your ability to handle things, start things, finish things, and even solve problems without leaning on other people other than yourself and your own instincts, abilities, and resourcefulness is what we call independence. In other words, how much can you get done, make happen, and accomplish even if you had no help? That's independence. This is not to say that getting help is a bad idea. I just told you when I made the point about relationships that you should always know people in different sectors just in case you need something. I know people who are really good with numbers and accounting. And even though I'm not bad at it, if I want to know if my hunch makes sense, I go talk to those people and ask them, hey, this is what I'm looking at. What do you think about this? And they'll tell me what they think. And there's a benefit in that sense of knowing someone outside of myself. I don't have to figure everything out on my own. This very show, I'm not going to edit the audio. I'm going to record it. I'm going to upload it to Google Drive, and my team will take care of everything else from there. I don't have to do anything else with it. All I got to do is record it. And next time I see it, I'm going to be listening to the episode the same way that you are listening to this episode right now. So independence does not mean doing everything on your own. Do not misconstrue this point. Independence means your ability to get things done on your own if and when necessary. Those are two different things. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but you want to be able to do it. And one of my favorite books called The Law of Success, written by Napoleon Hill. You're familiar with Napoleon Hill. He wrote Think and Grow Rich. He basically pulled Think and Grow Rich out of The Law of Success. The Law of Success was such a big book. He pulled a section of the book out, and it became the book that you all know as Think and Grow Rich. But in The Law of Success, he has a section in there where he has a military veteran write something in the book. And what one of the military veterans says is that the person who is in charge of a group in the military should be just as good, if not better, than everybody in that group at every single aspect of doing the job. He should be better at shooting than all of them. He should know more about the horses than the person who's in charge of the horses. He should be better at making food than the person who makes the food. He should be just at the top of damn near everything. Why? Because that earns him the respect of everybody else on the team. Now, that doesn't necessarily apply to all of you in your everyday contemporary jobs, but I want you to get the spirit of the point. Spirit of the point is, if everybody else leaves, can you still get things done? One of my favorite things about somebody like Michael Jordan, I did episode 1217 about him, my virtual mentors episode, is that Michael Jordan, that even when his teammates didn't do their jobs, one of his teammates was just having a bad game and just playing like shit, Michael Jordan did not allow that to be an excuse for the team to still lose. He would basically pick up the slack of wherever his teammates fell off, and his teammates all knew it. His teammates all said it about him, that they were nice when none of us had it, but Michael Jordan found a way to have it himself. And that's the reason why we won so often. His last year with the Chicago Bulls, in 1997-1998 season, this is the season that you saw the Netflix documentary called The Last Dance. It was that year. His best teammate was a guy named Scottie Pippen. Many of you familiar with Scottie. Scottie Pippen missed several games. He missed about half the games that season because he had gotten surgery. I believe it was on his foot. And he had surgery on his foot, and there were other reasons for that we don't have to get into here today. But Scottie has surgery on his foot, so he misses half the games. But the Chicago Bulls still won 62 games that season. And in the NBA, out of an 82-game season, if your team wins over 60 games, you are considered a championship contender. The Chicago Bulls, minus the second best player on the damn team, Scottie Pippen, still won 62 games because Michael Jordan picked up where Scottie Pippen left off. And that's the whole point. And the Bulls didn't even lose. They never lost 3 games in a row that entire season or the entire 1990s as long as Michael Jordan was playing. Point being is that he was strong enough to make up for what any of his teammates did not do. can we still be good even if this person's not there? There's a section in the book, Relentless, written by Tim Grover, which the book is essentially about Michael Jordan's mindset. And he talks about how there was another teammate Michael had named Dennis Rodman, who was probably the second best teammate Michael Jordan had. He missed several games with a suspension one year when he was on the Chicago Bulls. And in the past, Rodman had gotten suspended on other teams, and the team would falter when Rodman wasn't playing, because Dennis Rodman was a very good player. He was an all-star. And Michael Jordan, it was his mentality to make sure that no one on the team thought that the team would not win if they weren't there. Michael Jordan's mindset, according to the author, Tim Grover, was that the only player on this team who we're going to come up short if they're not playing is me. If any one of you is not playing, we're still going to win because I'm still here. And when Dennis Rodman missed a string of games, he and Scotty, Michael Jordan and Scotty, that is, they played, this is according to Tim Grover, they played as if it was for the championship, and they made sure Dennis Rodman understood that if you miss games on this team, we're still going to win, because we were champions before you got here. So you don't make us champions, we're going to make you a champion, all right, at least on this team. So independence is just a mindset that even if I don't have the help, I'm still going to get it done. All right, the more independent you are, the more power you have. Independence is power, okay? Because you're not dependent on others for help. Doesn't mean you can't use them, but you're not dependent. There's a difference between using people for help and needing people for help. Paradoxically, when you are independent and you don't need other people for help, it usually leads to everybody wanting to help you. Everybody wants to, and everyone becomes dependent on you, because a lot of people are not independent and they don't want the responsibility that comes with independence. So they will become more dependent on you because you're the person who can do everything. See, the trade-off of being independent is that you're going to be heavily relied upon and called upon for help when others cannot come through. This is just what comes with being that person. Responsibility, however, brings with it power in the package deal. So the more responsibility you take through your independence, the more power you get. People who are street smart tend to be very independent because they have trained themselves to figure things out. Like we talked about resourcefulness. They have relationships so they can use others and others can use them. So every relationship is symbiotic, by the way, because if you're in a relationship where you're only taking but not giving, then that relationship is not going to last long. And they've trained themselves how to figure things out, even when there doesn't seem to be a clear or easy answer. Again, this is independence. Moving on, point number 9. Today's topic, once again, is street smarts, the what, the why, and the how. Number 9, instincts. Being deeply in touch with your subconscious mind, which always tells you the truth. And the challenge for many of us, especially if you're very book smart, is that our conscious minds get so filled with information that we don't notice when the subconscious mind is talking to us. That's what instincts are about. It's listening to that subconscious conversation, which speaks in a whisper, while your conscious mind speaks in a loud conversational tone. Which means if they're both trying to talk at the same time, you don't hear the subconscious, you only hear the conscious. And I talked about how to reconnect with your instincts in episode 1448. And I'm pretty sure one of the points I made there is you got to turn off the outside noise. Episode 1003, how to prepare yourself to play off of instinct. Playing off of instinct is something that I would get asked about often by basketball players back in my basketball content days, because I would make a lot of videos and workouts showing players how to practice. And players would say, well, the stuff that you're showing me how to practice, Dre, is great, but when I get into the games, I freeze up and I don't actually use this stuff. How can I train myself to do this stuff in the game without thinking? They were asking the right question. And the answer to it is there's not really a how-to to it. The answer is you do the drills so often that they become part of your muscle memory. So then when you get in the game, you will just react with the things that you have already practiced. You practice enough things that no matter what happens, you have a reaction to it because you practiced everything. That's the reason that you put the time in. That's where work on your game came from, the very concept. So instincts are developed through habit and repetition on top of the instincts that you are born with as a human being. So that thing of reading people and discernment, that's an instinctive thing. Many of you have very dull, faded instincts because you're allowing your conscious mind to talk to you so often that you don't hear what your instincts are telling you. For example, has any of you ever dealt with a person who, when you first engaged with them, something about them just seemed off, something about them didn't seem right, something about them said, stay away from this person, leave them alone, but you didn't listen to your instincts. You allowed your conscious mind to crowd out what your instincts were telling you. You ended up dealing with this person and they ended up being the exact shady piece of shit person that your instincts were telling you that they were from the very beginning. Has any of you ever had that experience? Of course you have. Now, why didn't you listen to your instincts? Because you were not deeply enough in touch with your instincts, and you instead allowed your conscious mind to shout down your instincts. This is a mistake. Again, street smart people are in touch with their instincts. That does not mean you follow every instinctive thought that you have. Sometimes an instinctive thought could lead you to ruin or to a bad place that you don't want to be in if you were to follow it. But you should notice your instinctive thoughts. That's what I would say. Just notice your instinctive thoughts. There are many things my instincts have told me at different points in life that I noticed what my instincts said, and later on they were proven to be right. But at the same time, I did not act on that instinct, because acting on that instinct would not have been a good idea in the moment. Everybody understand? It might not have been a good idea later either. But I noticed the thing and can still remember some of them today. I'm not thinking of one that is worthy of sharing here on the show. But if I think of one while I'm still talking, maybe I'll get you one. So, but being deeply in touch with your subconscious mind is instincts. Instincts come from the subconscious, not from the conscious. You can't consciously think about your instincts. Okay, so it's kind of funny that I'm even talking about it here. The problem with not being in touch with your instincts is further exacerbated these days because we're on these devices that we use all day, 24 hours a day, and they're always presenting us something else to keep the conscious mind active. To reach your instincts, you had to, or hear your instincts, you got to turn the conscious mind off. So this is why those of you who do meditation exercises, Zen exercises, just mindfulness exercises, or you just have times where you shut off all the devices and you just are quiet and to yourself, that's how you get in touch with your instincts. Some of you never do that. And this is the reason why you're not in touch with your instincts, because you never give your instincts a chance to talk to you. So you just decided, all right, I'm not going to talk to this person anymore because they ain't listening. Okay. So the subconscious mind can't get a chance to speak to you if you never shut off the noise. And while the subconscious mind does speak to you during your less conscious moments, like when you're showering, sleeping, or just waking up or just falling asleep, it only speaks to you with material that has been sourced from the stuff that you've been taking in while you were awake and mentally active. And if you're taking in material all the time, then it can only give you different forms of what you're already taking in. So you got to be very careful about what you're consuming. What kind of podcasts are you listening to? What are you watching on YouTube? What are you scrolling on social media? One key to getting back in touch with your instincts, folks, is again cutting off the outside noise. Phone, email, text messages, headphones. Street smart people are highly instinctive for the fact that they know how to shut out the outside noise. Even if there is a literal outside noise, they know how to shut the noise off. Michael Jordan, I used him as an example earlier here today. He talked about how basketball was his sanctuary, like how he could have all this noise going on around him because he was a very well-known person, maybe the most famous person on the planet at a certain point, and he had all these demands on him. Everybody wanted something from him, and he had people around him all the time working for him, tending to him, watching his back, et cetera, et cetera. He said when he got on the basketball court, in between those four lines, it was like everything became quiet, and he could shut off the rest of the world because as soon as he got off that court, the whole world wanted something from him. Everybody wanted something. Somebody wanted a picture, an autograph, shake his hand, etc., pointing at him. He couldn't be out in public and not be bothered. He always had somebody. So the instincts for him, getting back in touch with his instincts, was being on the basketball court. That was his place to do it. So being able to shut out the outside noise is a key skill, ladies and gentlemen, to getting back in touch with your instincts. For some of you, it might be working out, maybe how you get your instincts. For others, it might be listening to music. For some of you, it may be some type of creative activity like painting or something that you do with your hands, whatever it may be for you. But you need to have something that allows you to get in touch with your instincts because that powers everything else you do for the rest of the day. So you got to be able to get there. And many of you are so actively engaged in outside noise, literally all day, that your instincts have stopped trying to talk to you. You need to fix this. Let's recap. This is part 3 of our ongoing series, Street Smarts, the what, the why, and the how. Number 7, recognizing opportunity. It is everywhere around us at all times. Opportunity is not something that happens to you. It is something that you decide through your actions and through your ability, or your willingness rather, to take advantage of the opportunities that are presented and or created. Number 8, independence. Your ability to handle things, start things, finish things, even solve problems without leaning on others, and without leaning on anything other than your own instincts, abilities, and your own resources or resourcefulness is what makes you independent. The interesting thing about it is the more independent you are, the more power you have, and the more people want to be around you and actually either get your help or offer you help simply because you seem so independent. This is the funny thing about life. The more you show that you have something handled, the more people want to handle it for you. And the less you have something handled, the less anybody wants to help you. So it's a funny thing how it works in life. This is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Independent people get more resources that allow them to be more independent, whereas dependent people get more things taken away from them that forces you to be more dependent. Funny thing. Number 9, instincts. Being deeply in touch with your subconscious mind, which allows you to shut out the conscious thoughts and the conscious noise that is inundating you all day, every day, and allows you to hear your instincts, which are never telling you a lie, It's your subconscious mind talking to you, which controls most of your thoughts, words, and actions, even when you're not aware of it. Getting back in touch with your instincts means you got to shut out the noise. Mindfulness exercises, meditation, quiet time, taking a quiet walk, taking your headphones out, turning your phone off, turning the computer off, turning the music off, stop listening to other people, let your subconscious mind finally speak to you. Some of you do this consciously while you're awake. One of the ways that I do it is through working out. When I'm working out, my instincts are able to speak to me, specifically when I'm doing something that is like cardiovascular heavy, like running. And for some of you, it's painting. For some of you, it's walking. For some of you, you actually do sit and meditate in a corner with incense burning for 2 hours. That works for you, but you need to know what works for you. That's the whole point. All this said, folks, tomorrow we'll get into part 4, final part of this 4-part series of Street Smarts. Make sure you go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, have me as your direct coach so we can get to work on what you're doing, where you're going, and I will help you directly with a strategy, clear mindset, clear strategy, systematizing everything, and make sure you're held accountable to get done what needs to get done. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all